Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Discover a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. Look for The Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey y'all, I'm JJ.
Hey guys, it's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Hi.
Hello. I just took Megan to church.
Amen.
And not in the, what's that man's name?
Don't say that.
Hoya,
he didn't ask
Hio.
to be. He did not ask to be dragged.
What was it? What's his name? No, I really don't know his name.
I know.
Hosier.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the person who we were like, not our favorite style. Of
No.
Oh, okay.
No, because
Yeah.
he said, take me to church. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hosier. Is it that it? Hoser or Hosier?
Melissa, the more times you said it, now I'm unconfident. I think it's Hosier.
Hosier. Okay. Where's he been?
I think Ireland.
Okay.
I think that's where he's from. He's got that, you know who probably celebrity crush? That's probably Keely Williams' celebrity crush. That is the style. That is the vibe. That was just so nice to her husband. Because he's like a sex icon.
Please stop.
Hosier is.
Oh, I thought you meant.
No, that's why I said I'm being very kind to her
I thought you were
husband.
saying because she has that song called
Sex was Spectacular.
I mean, who else would she have written the song about if they were dating already?
She was, Melissa.
Oh yeah, she was
playing a
acting. I'm
role. She
sorry,
was
I forgot.
acting. It was,
I'm
Planned
sorry.
Parenthood was like, we are not endorsing this. This is not a collaboration. Sex education. They play it in sex ed classes across the country.
If you want to know what we're referring to, listen to Fisting Friday from this past Friday.
And even if you don't want to know what we're talking about, you should still listen because Melissa did not want to know.
I didn't, and I still don't.
And she still knows.
Yeah, I feel like I'll forget about it in a month.
I don't know that you ever will. It stays with you. Anyways, welcome to another episode or your first episode ever of
Don't blame me.
Don't blame me. So on this podcast, I am Megan and
I am Melissa.
And together we are M&M.
We melt in your mouth, not in your hand.
Did that used to be their slogan?
Yeah.
When do you think they were like, let's phase this out?
So,
do you think it was paired with when they phased out the sexy M&Ms?
No, it was way before. As someone who in 7th grade did a whole history project on M&Ms, because that's also just my initials too. It started because the soldiers in World War II needed a chocolate snack that, because of the candy shell, it melts in your mouth, not in your hand. And so that was where it originated from, because it has a candy shell. So they'd have a little treat that would melt in your mouth, not in your hand.
So were they advertising it to people in the army? Like,
Well,
buy
you
this
know-
while you're there?
Well, no, but you know how back then the army, I mean, it's propaganda now, but like the army propaganda was so thick in the culture, it was just everywhere.
Yeah, so everybody was like, I may not be on the fields, but I'm supporting. And you know what? I'm eating the same candy they're eating.
Yep.
And it's like, okay.
Yep.
Like, it's just, it's the cosplaying of war from the sidelines.
Yeah.
Being like, yeah. That checks out. Did you write about that in your project?
Yeah.
Damn.
I did a
that's fun
whole
one.
history thing and I got an A+ on it. I had a
Wow.
thick packet because I was really like
It got fascinating.
I was so fascinated with it.
Wow.
And we only had to give like a little short spiel because I think the teachers were just tired of teaching, that they took and combined. And we had this, I don't know if you had it at your school, but this, and I didn't have it at most school, but this particular school, it was a newer school. And the wall dividers, like you could pull it back to make the rooms bigger. And so like they
an
just
event
combined,
space. Weird.
like they combined our classrooms, and then everybody like kind of gave like a spiel on what the thing was. And I was like, I was prepared to give a whole lesson, and they cut me down because everybody was doing it. And I truly think the teachers were just tired, and they were just like, everybody.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, my project that we had to do like that, where it was like how to write a research paper, like I think it was our 8th grade project. What was it called? I don't remember, but I did mine on the Titanic. And I also got far more interested and wrote twice or three times as many pages as I should have. But as you're saying M&Ms, I go, that might have been a lot. I should have done something like that, because being all encompassed with the Titanic then made me convinced it.
Well, it's
I know
timely.
I'm
going to talk more about them, but am I wrong?
Yeah. Well, all of that aside, you might be wondering, you have wonderful personalities. I'm enjoying just listening to you gab back and forth. What do you do here? Well, we give advice here because besides being entertaining, we're also incredibly insightful, intelligent, hilarious, and alpha females with microphones. So it's par for the course. I like that. That's a good sound effect. Well, you might be wondering how we give you advice. And that's, I don't know how to do that segue. So if you want to call in for an upcoming episode, tell us what's happening in your life, what your problem is, the situation, what you need some advice on, you can leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. And international listeners, you can send us an audio message at meganpodcast@gmail.com. Got to keep it under 3 minutes for both. We say that you write everything down, practice it a few times, time it out, make sure it's under 3 minutes, include your age if you age and over, have your parents' permission. I don't know if I already said that. You could let us know your pronouns if you would like. And if it's about a relationship, how long have you been together? How old is the other person? Just, have a full rounded idea of the situation so we can give you good advice. We don't give you bad advice.
Here we go.
Hi, Meghan and Melisa. So I'm just going to go straightforward. I'm a stoner. So I be smoking like kind of almost every single day because I live with kids, so I don't want them to be around that. So 100% I don't smoke in front of them. But also, I'm trying to look for a new job. And even though it is legal here in my state, I would rather, they still require a drug test. And I want to learn how to weed it off. And I forgot which one of y'all was the former stoner. So how did y'all, were able to wean it off? So I just need some advice on that, because literally everyone around me is also a stoner. And they're like, just steal pee from, your kid. And I'm like, I'm not going to steal my kid's pee because, one, I don't know how his bladder works. Two, do you know how impossible it is to take bladder from a child? And that's weird and gross and disgusting. No, thank you. But yeah, help me wean it off. Thanks.
I mean, I don't have great advice for this because I basically stopped smoking weed because I had one really horrific experience, which I was convinced it was laced with something. And then I didn't smoke for a long time. And then I smoked again after one night of drinking in college, and woke up in someone's bed who I was like, who is this? And I had to call my big pick me up. And that I was also is this so I had just two really bad experiences. And so, I mean, I think that's how it is for a lot of people. So in terms of weaning yourself off from it, when it comes to the debate of is weed addictive, there's a difference between something creating like a chemical dependency versus habitual dependency and a reliance on an escapism. Like you can, if you look at addiction in terms of two different kinds of addictions, like things that are showing up in your brain and dependency and things that are showing up in coping mechanisms or habits of things. I guess my question is, if it's legal in your state and you have a medical card, would that, I think maybe you would probably need a medical card.
It's not. They finalized the bill, but it's not completely legalized yet. I don't think we're the people to ask for this. That's the thing. It's like, this is a chemical thing that's going on in your body, and I would ask a professional. I know it's not legal, but there are drug professionals that you can speak to that this is literally their job to work through. So I would research that and find that, because this is basically giving medical advice, and that's not something that we do.
Also, because my question is, like, are you trying to wean off just to pass the test, or is it like, because here's like, a lot of the time there are places who will drug test and it's very much irrelevant if you smoke weed on the weekends or even if you have a medical card. But there are other ones that it's like you're operating heavy machinery. And so even if it is for a medical reason, they don't have to hire you. And that's not discrimination. It's the same thing if you were on painkillers because of, for a medical reason, you wouldn't be able to do something that, again, is operating heavy machinery. So I think like if the field you're trying to apply for jobs in is one in which the drug testing there is not just kind of regulation, like it's not just like, oh, it's because everyone does it. It's because of the field. And if that's a field you want to get into, then I would definitely like look into like quitting as a whole. Otherwise, I think if it's just for a time period and just before a test, I would probably like look for a job for, I don't know if like, you know, a smoke shop or a rest, like something that like is a culture where like, where do your friends work? Like a culture where if this is like, if you enjoy being a stoner and that's something that you want to do, then I think a stoner-centric job versus getting a job that can't have you smoke weed and then just smoking weed after.
I used to work at a place where people would come to this place specifically to get the items so that they could pass a drug test for the week. And I'm not going to say it because it's actually illegal. Like we could not legally, I knew why they were coming in to get it. And if they were to ask that this is the reason I'm coming in to get it, I could not say. But there are things but it's not legal and you can't ask for it by that name.
No. And it's also like, it's not a sure thing. And you just have to be cautious for why they're asking for a drug test, because some places are doing it just because that's just what everyone does. And other places are doing it because if then you are signing on to a job where it says that you have to be like drug tested and be free of any sort of substances, weed will show up later in your system, but you could then be at fault for something because you've signed a contract essentially. You know what I mean? So like, it's one of those things like you might not want to cheat the system because that doesn't actually work in your favor in the long term if something were to happen. Because if they're going to require a drug test at the beginning, a lot of companies will also do a random drug test. And then if depending on where you're working or the circumstance, the location, if something were to, God forbid, happen, and then that aligned with a random drug test, you're not really protected in that way.
And also, some places might do a hair test as opposed to a pee test, and you might not know that. And those are like, you can't just get rid of it.
I just think do your due diligence before you make any choices, because if you have to really go out of your way to pass a drug test to get the job, and it's, you know, lots of people smoke weed, but if you have to really jump through like all of these hoops, I would also find out why, because it might not be a one and done, we're good thing, but it could be like a career shift or a job that you really love. And that's like part of like what kickstarts and has you be like, oh, I'm not going to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Weed is great for some people. It is not great for other people. I'm one of the other people.
It just makes me go to sleep.
Oh, I'm just paranoid being like, I want to go to sleep so bad.
See, I get paranoid and I'll have like paranoia while I'm sleeping. Like I hear people outside, but I'm still asleep.
That doesn't sound fun.
It's not. Unless like I go into it as with the mindset of this is the experience that I want.
You're leaning in.
Mm-hmm.
You're light bright.
Yeah. All right. We're going to take a break.
Back from the break, and it's time for the rest of the calls, or the next call.
Hi, Meghan and Melisa. I'm 26. I use she, they pronouns, and I'm queer. I also live in a major U.S. city. This may be a little bit of a different question for y'all, but I thought you guys might find it fun. Dating apps all suck. We can pretty much agree on that. At least that's the consensus in my queer group chat that I'm in for my major city. We have a really awesome chat within that bigger chat just for singles to get advice, then maybe even connect with each other. Everyone was complaining about dating apps so much, and I also deeply hate them. And then I got Match, a matchmaking service for all the cool people in my group chat, especially for the people like myself who aren't quite bold enough to just message people on the side and see if they're interested. Because I'm autistic and I hyperfixate, I interacted the session, threw together a Google form with some kind of bare bones questions, and threw it out into the chat. I'm also a UX researcher, so I was really interested in keeping it more open for the first round and letting my quote-unquote users tell me what was more important to them in a queer dating experience so I could create better questions for a round 2. We had 90 participants, which was wild, and ended up with 45 initial pairings. I made sure that nobody went to unmatched. And riding that high from round 1 and the fact that we already have one match that's turned into a relationship with a bunch more positive first dates also happening all around. I'm gearing up for round 2 so people who didn't get to participate can try it this time, and that people who maybe didn't work out can have a second shot. And I want to make this thing that happens frequently. That's where my question comes in. I'm overhauling the questionnaire, and I'm scrounging around for new questions to ask. For ease, I'm trying to keep as many as possible as multiple choice questions, with a select few as short answer. What more unusual questions would you want on a matchmaking questionnaire? I have stuff like political affiliation, attitudes on drugs, relationship goals, etc. But I'm looking for even more things that get at the heart of who people are and what they're looking for. Thanks guys so much in advance. Bye.
This is so cool.
Wait, like, I love the way your brain works.
I do too. And then I want you to make the chart.
Yeah, we'd be friends with you.
You won't get this reference, but
okay.
I would like you to make the chart and then connect everybody. And then like you're like the Alice of this universe, of the real universe. It's from the L Word.
Oh. So you just assumed that they're going to get it?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
And they're listening going, I do get it. I do get it. I know what the L word is. That was one that I remember as a kid, I would see it at like the movie store. And I was like, I want to watch this. And my parents were like, no. And I was like, this looks like the covers were always like, I was like, girls having fun. Like, I was picking up Crossroads. I was watching The Princess Diaries. And I'm like,
it actually, the vibe of the cover
fits
probably
in.
is the same as Crossroads.
Yeah. And I was just like, why? And I'm like 11 being like, I want to watch it. I watched Sister of the Traveling Pants. Like, this looks like a fun time. And they're like, no. And then literally, I think it was when I got a Tumblr when I was like 17, or no, I was probably like 15 or 16. I was like, oh, okay. This is different. This is why I wasn't allowed to watch it when I was 9.
But as Alice on the L Word essentially made Facebook before it was Facebook.
Oh my God. Wow.
If you would like to hear some more things, check out Pants, a podcast hosted by Leisha Haley, who plays Alice, and Kate Minnick.
Hell yeah.
Produced by me.
You don't say. I'm shocked. This is just a huge fan. This is like ingenious.
Yeah. I would love for you to be part of my life to figure this out for me.
Yeah.
This is incredible. What questions would I like? What time of day do you like to work out?
I would also like to hear, like, as a short answer, I know you said multiple choice, but as a short answer, because I think people would want to answer this one, describe your perfect day off.
Mm-hmm.
Because that to me is like how you act when you have your like recreational free time. I need to know if we align on this.
Do you like to eat dinner in front of the TV or at a table?
What is like one movie that you would like recommend to someone, or like a guilty pleasure kind of thing? Because I think guilty pleasure questions, I find them insightful, because if someone says something that's a guilty pleasure that is like so not, I'm like, what does that say about you that you're guilty, that you think people
see
this is something?
I think that's a trick question though, because what is a guilty pleasure?
No, I know. I'm trying to come up with trick questions to like really get to know people, but that's because
you're straight.
Oh yeah, we are trying to make matches. We're not trying to vet out straight men.
Yes, it's different.
Wow. I'm sorry. This is just like opened up a whole. You're right. This could be fun. Yeah. So like how you function, how you like yeah, you're right. Workout times, all of those things. Ooh, like what's like the best thing that you've ever cooked, and what's the worst thing you've ever cooked? That's a fun one. Like, oh, even like, would you rather? Like, we're going on a vacation. Are you a stay at the hotel by the pool the whole time, or are you an adventure? Yeah. Like a constant adventure. You get a text message that we're going out for a party tonight. You've got 10 minutes to get ready. Are you excited or are you stressed?
I'm not going.
And I'm not going either. But like for me, like if someone like was like, I need someone who's like spontaneous, who I was like, no, I have to mentally prepare. And I need you to tell me like 2 days ahead of time who's all going to be there.
Yeah.
And then I can pick up my outfit. But something like.
Yep. That's a good one. I want to think more on this.
Yeah.
And maybe every episode we'll just drop a gem.
Oh my gosh. Well,
wait, you remember that game you came up with? The red flag game? You came up with it that we're going to make eventually. But there's a whole bunch of stuff in that. I still have it like in my email.
I forgot. I start so many things.
But like it's so in debt.
No, it is. I don't want
to give that away.
I don't want to give it to you because your spreadsheet idea is like this other idea. It's different, but like
yeah, it's very different.
It's I don't want to give all of our good things, but I was also going to say something that I've been doing, and I think I brought it up in the last episode, which and I've also just said it in our Patreon when people are like talking about who they're dating, and I'm like, who's playing them in a movie? So I think like, and again, I think if you're going to do short answer write-in ones, they have to be kind of, I don't want to say egotistical, but something that like you want to answer, where it's like it's like a fun and fluffs yourself up. So I would say something like, your life is a movie. Who would you want to play you, and who is actually going to play you? So like self-aware, like of like do you have like I would want this person to play me, but like this was the person who would probably realistically play me, or are they the same person?
Mine's the same.
And so to
I've
me,
said it before.
That tells me I'm like, oh, so self-assured, so confident, like knows who they are. There's not this.
What's your answer for that?
My answer would be.
I already gave you my answer for you for this. We've talked about it
what
before.
Time? But what age range are they?
They're your age.
Emma Roberts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I was going to say. So like, I think it could be, if I was older, I would say like Cameron Diaz, just humor wise. Mm-hmm. If it was younger, I would say Amanda Bynes humor wise, and I was younger. But yeah, no, I think again.
But Amanda Bynes is like my age though.
No, but me when I was younger, gotcha. And her when she was younger, because like I don't think we have very like
no,
not so much now. Yeah, and I would have said younger, like Hillary Duff, but I was way fucking weirder. That would have been like. So if you asked me when I was 15, I would have said like I want it to be Hillary Duff, but like it's not gonna be. You know what I mean? So I think that's something like interesting and fun. Who's yours?
Quinta.
Okay, well, So I wondered if it was. I was like, maybe that's the reason why you weren't sharing the information. Because I was like, okay, that should have been my clue. Because like, you're not telling me, so it's still Quinta.
It's still Quinta.
It's still Quinta. It will always be Quinta. It's never not Quinta. Yeah. No, and it's been Quinta before the world.
Yeah.
Before Quinta was, I mean, she was a household name in our homes, but for people who.
It was, it really solidified it for me. She was in I forgot what video it was, but my friend from college sent this, and it's old, like years ago. My friend from college sent it to me, and he was like, this reminds me of you. And I was like, you're correct.
She'll play me in a movie one day. She's been on the list the whole fucking time.
Yep.
Oh, another good one would be like, what fictional world would you like to be a part of? Like a TV show or like movies or whatever, or like what friend group of those people, or even asking like whether it's like a TV show, because like you said, it's like a group chat with people, and if you know, and I guess you're also starting to get to know these people from their answers from the previous ones. So if you know kind of like the genre of movies or tastes that people have, saying like a TV show name or like a Shondaverse, like something that is like multiple shows. Like, who are you? Like, which friend group would you sit with? Or like, what is your
Shondaverse is so messy.
No, I know.
to pick that.
First of all, if someone like, I'm a Huck, I'd be like, love him, but in what way?
Everybody's scary.
Yeah. I think also like I would look back and like, you already know this, but based on what the other answers were, especially for the couple who got together, I would also ask them like, which were the questions that they like that stuck out for them, and like what was the way that kind of matched. Because for me, it would be lifestyle compatibility.
Mm-hmm.
What time do you go to bed? Do you eat in your bed?
Yeah.
Are you in a shoes on or a shoes off household?
Oh, that's big for me.
Do you wash your legs?
Do you wash your sheets once a week?
As someone who currently does not have a dryer,
I have like 5 pairs of sheets that I just rotate through.
You know, when I was moving, I was like getting all cocky and shit, being like, I'm downsizing. And so I got rid of, we had 2 pairs of sheets. And that's fucking it. And that's not enough time when you don't have a dryer. But yeah, so like I guess lifestyle things.
If I cook, will you clean the kitchen?
Great. Can I have your pickle when we're eating our lunch? Are you the pickle eater or you're the pickle giver?
Yeah.
Are you friends with your exes?
Oh, that's a good. Well, I feel like in the community that this is in, that will be regular.
Yeah, but I mean, if that's a hard no,
yeah,
you know, I think that's probably it can weed it out.
This one, it can come off harsh, and I don't mean it harsh, but I think this is an important question for dating. Are you okay with dating somebody that's more or less successful in your eyes to them?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's a good one. How would other people describe you? I think like how would your best friend describe you, or like how would your best friend sell you on me? Because depending on, I don't know what you said 26. So I would say like in like the young 20s age range, self-deprecating humor is that's just kind of the norm. And then I think on dating apps and like other dating apps, it's hard to read when people are being self-deprecating versus not. And then sometimes, like, at least for me, I would automatically go to self-deprecating because I have to describe myself. So if you told me to like describe how someone else would describe me, I would probably give you a far more accurate and like positive thing of versus like me spewing my own shit.
Yeah, I was doing more self-deprecating stuff on dating apps, and I changed it to be not so much. I wouldn't say self-deprecating. I'm just sarcastic, and it does not read well across a dating app.
It also does not read well if they don't know you. Like, but
I'm hilarious, and I like to burn people as a joke, and people like it.
They get it immediately in person. It just takes. It's like
it takes a minute, and so I've changed how my dating profile is, and I get way more.
Well, and for like mine was always very like self-aware, self-deprecating, like funny. But then I would never swipe right on someone who wasn't self-deprecating because I was like, I don't like that. Like you answering all of these questions like so earnestly, like I could never do because the questions weren't worded in a way that it was either like you're going to be sarcastic and self-deprecating, or you're going to be like sucking your own dick and be like, oh my God, like my shit doesn't stink. Like, so there wasn't a happy medium. And so I'm sure that like, I like, even when I was like on yours for, I was like, oh my God, these people are so earnest. And you're like, no, I mean, like, it's fine, but it's just because there's no in between. So I think especially when you're asking people like questions about themselves, I think multiple choice is a great call because you don't have to kind of think about it, and you only have so many options. So you're not picking like something very negative. But I think asking like how someone else would describe you is a more accurate, usually a far more accurate description than we can give ourselves.
I think is another good one is for the holidays. Where would you like to spend? Like,
oh yeah,
do you like to host? Do you like to go to your family? Do you want to go to, I don't know if the other person has a family, or do you just like to disappear?
Yeah. Oh, are you the driver or the passenger in the relationship? Do you care about astrology? That's big into it. Do you want someone from a similar background and life experience as you, or are you someone who likes to be dating as a mirror, or do you like to date someone who's had like a completely different life experience than you?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this is so fun. I could do this
It is.
forever. Yeah, I mean, I also...
Can you DM us? Because I want to see what
The
it
other
is, because you
questions.
said it's a spreadsheet.
And I'd like to see the other questions, like
Yeah,
what you
that's
had
what I
did
mean.
before. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what that's... I don't know how spreadsheets work. But yeah, because I think things like deal breakers and stuff are like important. But I even think something as simple as like your favorite cuisine, like your favorite TV show.
Here's one that both of us have talked about before, but like, how clean do you like your house?
Great one. Great one. Yeah. What do you consider clean? Like, what's your cleanliness standard? That's a very, very good call. Do you break down the recycling boxes when you take them out?
As you should.
Uh-huh. Do you wear jeans in your bed?
Oh!
Immediately kick them out of the group chat. Disgusting. What's your thoughts on outdoor clothes?
Outdoor
inside?
clothes is a thing. Like, yeah, indoor and outdoor clothes. That's huge. Huge for me.
What's the age range of the plant you've kept alive the longest? Cats or dogs, I think, is another one that, care about. What are you singing at karaoke?
Mm-hmm.
Would you get up and sing at karaoke?
Mm-hmm.
People used to say, are you the Oprah or the Gayle? But I don't think you can, like, Gayle is front of house at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, Gail is on CBS News and then also running O Magazine.
yeah, no, Gayle is behind and in front of the scenes at this point.
Are you a talker or not talker? And are you okay with being with someone that's a quiet person that's going to be with a talker that's going to stand up for them when shit's going down?
Yep. Are you someone who's okay with going to bed angry? That's a communication style. What's your love language?
Sleep with the air conditioner on or off?
Can you braid hair? If I could date someone who could braid I literally was telling my boss, I was like, I need to teach you how to fucking braid my hair. Because
my dad knew how to. He did our hair. He had to. Well, he also had long hair at one point in the 70s, as a lot of people did.
I would like to see the pictures.
But he did, because my mom was off doing corporate stuff, so he would do our hair.
I see like lots of like dads able to. I mean, I didn't have neither parent could braid hair or do any of that, and that's how I ended up with the beads on the hair at the end of my braids, because my best friend was Jamaican. And her mom was white, and she was like, "This is fine." And we grew up, and my friend and I were like, "No, don't put beads in my hair." You know how some people, and like this is something that I love that like Mats and I are like, that like I love getting ready with him. It's like I'm like, I want you to hang out in the bathroom. Like if I'm showering and like we're getting ready to go somewhere, like I want you to hang out and talk with me.
Yeah. And
there are some people who want to get ready separate, even if you're like living together in a relationship, and then you come together like, let's go to the door and we're gonna like head out now. It's like I don't know how to phrase that.
Are you a couple get readier or a separate get readier?
Yeah, because in my head I'm like, would you braid my hair is synonymous with,
if my hair is braided, would you take it down for me?
Would you take my makeup off before I went to bed? Would you brush my teeth for me if I laid in bed?
Do you brush your teeth before you go to bed?
How many times a day do you brush your teeth?
Yeah. Do you have a whole jar of disposable toothbrushes that you keep at your sink for people that come over?
Do you have IBS-C or IBS-D? That's another good one. Middle seat. What seat do you take on an airplane?
Yeah, that's a good one.
What role do you take at the airport? Are you the person who has all of the passports? Are you the planner? Or
do you get there 2 hours before?
Yeah. Vacation wise, the same thing. Like not just what I said before about like, are you hanging out at the pool, never leaving the resort? But are you the Google Doc itinerary? I know who you are, caller. Are you the Google Doc itinerary? Like we've got the reservations. We have all these ideas. That is also Melissa. And I love to travel with people like that. Or are you someone who wants to take things spontaneous? How do you take your coffee? That's another good one. Do a couple, throw in a couple there. That's like a setup in the sense of like, I don't know if you send the results, other people's answers to each other.
I don't think you should.
I don't think you should. But I think if you can have like a bonus question, it's like, how do you take your coffee? Or like, what's your favorite flower or something? And sharing that with the other person if they match. And so it's like, oh, you're going on a date with this person, got the coffee, or like, you know what I mean? Like something like that can show an interest, because I don't think you should share everything, because then what do you have to talk about in your first?
Yeah. And also sometimes things might be opposite, but they actually just work out in the relationship too.
Yeah. Or it's like, you might think that, oh no, I wouldn't pair that together. But someone who has like a bird's eye view of the situation goes, no, this definitely fits and makes sense together. I don't know if you have any heavier questions, but the only thing that would come to my mind that I like know people who this is like a hard yes positive or a hard no because it's too relatable for some people, but you would know this better about the appropriateness of this, but like religious trauma. Like, did you come from a religious background, whether you're still practicing, or I know people who are at different levels in deconstruction of a religion. And it's, if that's not aligned at that point, that's not gonna happen. I love this though.
Yeah, I do. I do too.
I love like learning about people through things like this. Like one of like Mods and I's favorite activities for a long time, and like I brought it on this show, doing like the BuzzFeed quizzes and things. And I love seeing, I like want to look over other people's shoulders. And again, for like, what kind of dessert would you be at an Irish wedding? Like, I want to see what people are answering for all of these like silly, stupid, like they're just fun, you know?
Yeah, I enjoy this a lot.
I love it. So please let us know, like, if you can send us some of the stuff, like we'd love to see it. We won't share the
just the
secrets,
questions. Yeah.
But I would also ask if you're a part of our Facebook group or not. I don't know. You said you're in a major city, so I don't know if like the group chat is, if you're looking for like more people, but you fully have our permission to, if you're in the Facebook group, to like, if you want to open this up to people in your area and post that in the Facebook group, like you totally can. I know we have a rule about like no self-promotion, but we obviously make exceptions for things, and you can always message us and ask about it before you post. But this is your verbal, you know, or if you don't have it and you want us to post, like if you're not in the Facebook group, you want us to post it or anything. I know that we have a like large part of our audience, depending on what city you're in, would love to participate or even do something like this in their own city.
I think that you should make money from this.
I think you should make an app. So there's this baby naming app that I heard about when my brother-in-law and sister-in-law were having their first kid. And it's kind of like a dating app. So you swipe left and right on names.
Yeah. I heard about this too.
And so then it gives you a notification when you match on a name with someone. So I don't know what it would be. Like, I think you probably have to say one of the guaranteed questions would have to be like, do you want someone who's opposite from you or not? Because then it would go on based off that.
But I think like core values, like that's a big, like that would take up a lot of things. And that's something that doesn't change opposite or not.
Yeah. And I think then the app would be like, it would not, the people wouldn't get the notification like, oh, you've matched on these core values immediately. You could get then the app puts those people into like a little circle, and then it divides it from further. But then you pay a premium. You can unlock everyone who you matched with on these 5 questions or these 10 questions, and you can enter that in. But you could also even do something like, whether it's like a Discord or not like a location-based app, but like, you know, email address that's like whatever dating in Atlanta, something Dallas. And having that, and like people paying a one-time fee to join into this and opt into like a pool of people, and then you host them like every couple months, and you have a buy-in for just that.
Yeah, and then you can start throwing parties and stuff that you like.
You could even like say that you'll cover dinner for the first date for the first people who like match our like first coffees on us or something, like a promo for something. And obviously, you know, it should be covering your cost to be able to do that. But I think you could do that you don't have to, and I don't know what your ambition on this is, like taking it on a nationwide scale, but also specifically, if you want to keep it in the circle of the area that you're in, you can then train other people in other cities to do that, and they'll know and be able to adjust the questions and things based on the values of the people who live there in their social circles. We just helped you create an MLM.
MLM of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is great.
So cool.
Please, like for real, like give us more info.
I think this is so interesting.
All right, next call.
Yes.
Hi, I've been a long time listener of the pod, so love you, Megan and Melissa. So I'll get into it. So it has to do with a lot of gift giving and just things not going the right way. So basically, me and my best friend, he, him, and my pronouns are she, her. we have been giving each other gifts for like 15 years. So, you know, that's just been kind of the habit for every holiday and stuff like that. So at Christmas time, there was, I guess, maybe miscommunication on both of our ends or something, but we usually give each other gifts. He went all out. He got me like a really nice sweater that I like and everything. And I gave him like more, like, I guess, more gifts where like I gave him like a mug with his initials. I gave him a nice candle. I gave him some of my favorite stationery for him to have and everything. And I guess that just wasn't enough for him because later for my birthday, he didn't get me anything. He just showed up. And here's the thing. Honestly, I'm a person that's like, if you just want to show up, I am super happy about that. So he did, and I didn't really think too much of it. And then it wasn't until later, till another friend of ours, their pronouns are they, them, and they threw a little party for all of us, and we showed up, and I gave them their gift, and they were happy with it. You know, they were like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Thank you so much. You know, it wasn't an extravagant gift, like, but it was a thoughtful gift like the ones I've given before. And my friend, just his face and his comments that he was making while watching our friend open this gift was like, oh wow, really? Oh wow, that must be nice. Like those kinds of comments. And I was just generally very confused as to why he was acting that way. And then later brought up, when we had a phone call later, he told me that he was just upset that he didn't receive like a thoughtful gift for Christmas. And I was just very confused by that. And I told him like, yes, it was. Like, how can you think that it wasn't? And we got into a huge fight. He later then said that he didn't like my boyfriend, which his pronouns are he, him, and just threw that in there and kind of blew up on me. And we didn't talk for like a month and a half. And we're actually going to see each other maybe in like 2 weeks to hang out a little bit. But it's like, I just don't know what to do. One of my love languages is gift giving. So I definitely feel very offended by all of this. And I don't know if it's me trying to draw a boundary or something, but I just need your help on what to do. Do I cut this friend off? Do I talk to him more and clarify? Like, I just don't know what to do at this point. So I'm happy to hear what you guys think. So thank you so much.
Is he in love with you?
Okay, I think I have a really unpopular opinion.
What is it?
I don't know what previous gifts you have given him and what this, like, what, if you can like look back on all of the years. But to me, as someone who like, I put a lot of thoughts into the gifts I give people, and you're an incredibly thoughtful gift giver. And it's like some people, it's not matched. So I will still put in the same, I'll still put in like the thoughtfulness and the effort. But if I had a friend who like was not you, who gave me like a gift that, because I'm just going to, just point blank to me, candle, mug, and stationery is something I would give like a white elephant thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's something I would give someone I don't know. Like it's so unpersonal to me. That's something I would give someone I don't know well. And I could have even like have never met before. So I would never be offended or hurt receiving that gift. If you gave me that gift, I would be like, are we good? Like,
yeah.
Huh?
Like you've given me candles before, but it was because I wanted candles. Like it was like specific candles that you knew that I would love the scent of.
Yeah, because I also am a big believer in like, you don't like shit that you don't want. I don't like shit that I don't want. A lot of my friends, like, I'm going to ask someone, like, you don't have to tell me like what you want for the holiday. Like if you don't have an idea, like sometimes I'll have a good idea. I'm like, oh, I know because you've said you've wanted this before. I don't even have to bring it up. But if there's something that hasn't been brought up and I'm like, okay, like what's your vibe? And that you were like, I really want some candles. Like, and I was like, oh, okay, say no more. I have a great idea. So unless it was asked for in that sense, or this is very aligned with the previous things that you have like given each other, to me, a sweater is something that is a lot more personal. Like I'm having to think about your personal style, but stationery, it gets used up. I don't look at it in my closet every day for the next 10 plus years.
That's what I was going to say. It's either like something that I'm going to use or I'm just going to sit it there and not use it because what am I going to use this for?
Yeah. And I don't mean to say that was your intention at all, because there are some people who stationery, mugs, and candles, like that is, oh my God, if you care about me, you know that's like what I would love. And there might have been so much thought put into it, like the same way that like if you hadn't told me that you had wanted candles for, it was Christmas one year.
Mm-hmm.
And I put all this thought knowing like, okay, it were Jackie Aina candles. And I was like, okay, this is someone who like these scents you're going to love. And like the person behind, like you're going to love the whole branding, the aesthetic, like all of this kind of stuff. And if you didn't want candles and you had no idea, then you would have had no idea the thought that was put into it. So I'm not saying that you didn't put thought into it, but on the receiving end, depending on the previous gifts you have given each other, he's not thinking about the thought you put into it because it's not maybe a gift that is really for him and like who he is right now. It can be something like, oh, I really love this thing and I want to share this with you, or I think you would really like it. But I also always really like to do a vibe check before each holiday if I don't already have an idea. But especially like as you start getting older and like people's budgets are changing, like people are having like weddings, people are buying houses or whatever it is, to be like, do we want to put a pause on this year for a gift? Or like, do we have something? Or if you're, knowing that someone is like, oh my God, I'm so excited, I got you a great gift. Like I even like to tell people that, and like a lot of times I just word vomit it. But for like other people, it's sometimes nice to just be like, how I want to check, are we going to do gifts this year? Are we not? And you've done it for 15 years. And so to me, this just is like 15 years to have your first hiccup, I think is not
phenomenal.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. But I think this is more along the lines with, you thought there was a lot of thought put into this gift and it might have been really specific and special to him and you wouldn't have got it for someone else, but it didn't land and it didn't feel that way. And so it can also just be you're seeing parts of him or things that you think he would really like that, for him, you see him, he maybe has like cute stationery, all of it, like nice things like that. And you're like, oh, I'm going to get him some cute stationery. He goes, I already have a ton of cute stationery. Like, I don't really need something like that. But this whole theory of mine only really works if this is just not really in the realm of other gifts that you've given. And if it's also not kind of in the realm of gifts that he's given you back, because otherwise, yeah, maybe there's a jealousy thing here.
Yeah, I only said that, is he in love with you, since he snapped and was like, I don't like your boyfriend.
Yeah. But I mean, the looking at what you get someone else is like with the other friend gifting the other friend something. And it was like, oh, wow, this is just, I mean, I've gotten gifts from people that felt incredibly impersonal. And I put so much thought and effort into it, to a gift that I got them. And that person just didn't even think about that. Like whether they didn't get it, they didn't register it, or they were just kind of off doing their own thing and it wasn't reciprocated. And there's a lot of hurt there. Like it is a lot of, because like it feels intentional. And so it's clear that that was not your intention. But I think if you can do your best to like hop off the defensive and understand and ask him to like get him to like really explain about it. And I would give the precursor, like, this clearly like didn't go over well. So like, there's nothing you can say to me at this point that's like going to be too far or hurt my feelings. So, like, please just like be brutally honest and like, tell me what's up. Like, tell me what happened to what went wrong. Cause this is clearly a miscommunication. And I want to get to the bottom of this because we've never had something like this in 15 years, as far as I know. If we have, because the other part of me wonders, like, what did you get last year? Like, has this compiled over, like, did it used to be you were both getting each other like far more thoughtful or maybe extravagant or whatever those gifts were, and that they slowly started to not really match up and align, and he started pulling back, and then we've ended up at this point? Like, has this been compiling or not? But clearly there are some issues here. But I think gift giving is such a touchy subject because no one wants to sound ungrateful or whatever, that I think you really have to be like, we just need to like not hold back and just like say, like, get everything out on the table here to figure out where to figure out where this went wrong and where this soured. But yeah, I would ask, like, how long have you been dating your boyfriend? What gifts did you give did you and your best friend, did you used to gift him concert tickets and you both would go to a concert and like that would be your thing? And then once you started dating your boyfriend, did you gift your boyfriend concert tickets for the last birthday and then you started doing that thing. Like it could be a symptom of, spending more time with a significant other and less with a friend, and then things that you used to the friend now doing with it. I think it's compiled, or this was a massive shift gift wise,
Yeah. But it's hard, especially since you said you do pride yourself on giving gifts, and his reaction is just I don't. Y'all just need to talk this out. Just talk it out. Where was the disconnect, and maybe explain like why you got those specific gifts for him, and that might make him feel better.
Yeah, because I can't imagine that you, caller, would be someone friends with someone for 15 years. You always get each other gifts, that there wouldn't be thought and care behind. Like, I don't think you gave a mug, stationery, and a candle the same way that I would give it to some, you know what I mean? Like, if I gave that to if I gave that to you, like it's not a white elephant kind of style gift. So I have to assume that that's how you gave it, but that's not how he received it. And to me, that's indicative of a larger problem.
Yep.
I have experience with this. Melissa's like, oh, she knows. Anyways.
All right, let's take a break.
Yay.
All right, we're back from our break.
What a break.
We actually took a mini one.
We did.
Mini catch up.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Hi, Meghan and Melisa. I'm a longtime listener, first-time caller to this or literally any other podcast. I'm a little nervous, but love you both and really looking forward to hearing your advice on this. I'm 30 years old, she, her pronouns. I just got divorced in March to my husband of 3-ish years. We've been together since 2016. But the details of the divorce don't really matter here other than it was my choice and a long time coming. I knew since about June 2022 that it was time. Anyway, I started dating a guy and got pretty serious nearly right after the divorce was final. He knew about the divorce and I was transparent about my fears about commitment. I feel strong feelings towards him though, and we say I love you, and I mean it. However, recently I'm having doubts and the strong desire to just be by myself. I'm craving independence and doing my own thing, which means I've pulled away from him and spending time together. It feels increasingly harder to say I love you and feel that excitement. I think I'm just scared with how quickly this moved and that maybe I never fully processed my divorce. But at the same time, I do really love him and love spending time with him and could see us having some kind of future together. But I do fear I'm doing myself a disservice by not taking the time to remember what it's like to be me without a partner. I know I lost a lot of myself in my marriage. But I know I can't have both, this new relationship and the time to take a step back and figure myself out. So any advice would be appreciated. I am in therapy. Also, since I have time, I'm a Cancer Sun, Aries rising, definitely identify with the Aries. So don't be afraid to hurt my not so sensitive little crabby Cancer feelings. Thank you so much.
Since you said you were with your ex since 2016, I think it makes perfect sense that you did get together with someone after your divorce, immediately after the divorce, because you weren't used to being alone. And now that you've, I'm guessing, healed somewhat from the divorce, then you're like, it's okay for me to have time to myself. And so while I hate the term rebound, it kind of like fits into this of you were with someone for a long time and then you weren't. And so there was a transition period where you were getting over your ex and someone was there to fill the void. And now you don't need that void filled anymore. And so you're craving your independence. I don't think there's anything wrong with what you're feeling. I don't think there's anything wrong with the way that you went about processing everything or even the steps that you took. Like, this was what was right for you at the time, and now it doesn't serve you anymore. And so this person that you're with may be great, like they were great for that time period, and they may be great for a time period in the future, but they're not necessarily who or how you should be living your life right now.
Yeah. You have to trust your gut. And like your gut knows, even the way you're talking about this, that you're like, I'm finding it harder to say, I love you. And then you were like, but like, yeah, I love him. But the distinction between those things is I love you from afar as a person. I'm not in love with you anymore. And you're saying I could see him as like some part of my life, but not where you're currently at. And where you're currently at is how this relationship is defined. And so like there has to be a change in the definition of this. But yeah, like I always think the phrase is cheesy, but it's true. Like people come into your life for a reason, season, lifetime. It's the duality of a season and a reason. And I agree with Melissa. Like, I don't think you should feel any sort of like shame. And all of this makes sense to me because another thing, like you said, the divorce started on your end. Sometimes when we make decisions, divorce or not, like anything that we are in control of and we aren't maybe entirely positive, especially if we've been sitting on it for a while, because you said you've known this since June of 2020, that we need to make other decisions that force us to follow through with them. So for someone getting out of a divorce, a lot of people do hop into a relationship right after because they're like, if I don't hop into this relationship, I might go back immediately. And I need a nail in a coffin. And I need a nail in a coffin so the other person is like, I'm not going to get back with you. Like I need something I can't have all of the control. Like here, I need to exert this control to ensure that my future situation is something that I know I consciously want, not something that I'm going to get back into other habits. So yeah, you hadn't been with anybody else in a while. And I don't want this to come across in a way that like, oh, you used him to heal, because you didn't, but you at that point post-divorce, also, I think the pandemic plays a huge role in this too, that like the amount of, I don't know how long the divorce process took. I don't know if it was mediation. I don't know if you had to go to court. Like, I don't know if it ended up getting contentious, like any of those things. But even if it's like the simplest divorce and you end on amicable terms, like you're still mourning what you thought was your future. You're mourning a relationship moving out of where you lived or the other person moving. Like you're having to go through all of that deal with all of those emotions. And a lot of people don't have the bandwidth to like socialize with different people and go out on first dates during that time. And so having someone who's a comfort and someone who you can like share and spend that time with, I look at that like friends also do that same thing. And it just happened that this was more than friends. You said from the start that you were very honest. I even think if you weren't very honest, I don't think that would even have mattered, because factually, when someone's getting out of a divorce, like that's the cards that are on the table. If you tell me that it's like, no, I want something really serious and like it's no big deal, I'm going to have to choose to suspend disbelief then, because this is a situation. Like it's a untangling and intertwining of lives. Like that's an ordeal. So he knew the situation. And beyond that, he also like knew your feelings. But I don't think that you are scared in the sense of, oh, like I'm scared that I'm sabotaging something good and I'm going to let something good get away. That's not really like how life works. Like if he is good for you right now, you wouldn't be having these doubts. And he was good for you and is what you needed before, like when you guys started. And there's a reason why your feelings changed. And feelings are always going to change. They're always going to grow or they're going to diminish. And that's because you're either growing together and you're falling more in love every day, and they continue to be the right person for you as you mature and evolve and go through life changes, and vice versa, you to them, or you start diverging in like different paths and different like life things. And that doesn't mean that it was like a waste of time or anything, but I would be more shocked if you if you were the exact same person that you were as soon as the divorce was finalized, and that this relationship would have withstood the test of time. Because to me, that would have said, like, you're still where you are right when you got divorced.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you would be doing yourself, like you said, I think you'd be doing yourself a disservice. And I don't want this to sound cunty, but like treating men and treating romantic interests like a scarcity. And that like, oh, I found a good, I have to lock it down. And it's like, no. You are the prize here. It's not that I found the first guy that I date after I got a divorce, like he's the only good one. Like he's not the only good one roaming the earth at all. And I think like the thing to do if you are scared in that situation is being scared that you're not going to come across someone else like that. And I don't think you went through a divorce and went through all of that and like chose yourself in that instance to then not continue to have confidence and believe in yourself that like you're going to meet tons of great people and it's not just this one.
Yeah. And after you're alone for a while, you may grow and change, and this might not be the person that you need later.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like, that's okay. That just means that like, that was who, like I've said before and Megan said, like, that's who you needed then. And like, they might not be the person that's good for you later.
Yeah. And I don't know how the relationship with your ex ended, but in most cases, I would say that the first person you date right after your divorce is not the person for you.
Yeah. I have a lot of friends that have gotten divorced and they were like, immediately like had sex with somebody and was like, that was the best sex of my life. And then later they're like, actually it wasn't. It was someone new, and it was good for then, and it was a good way to, move on. But, it was more of the excitement of I'm out of this thing and this is the new person.
Yeah. I don't think that going through a divorce is expensive and emotionally expensive and dealing with all of that stuff, that I think that some people, if hopping into dating, then hop into dating. And then other people, they start off, I'm just taking my alone time. And then the first person that they date, maybe 2 years down the road, is the person they end up with. But you have to accomplish both steps of being single. And if you want to be in a relationship, then that is the other step. And this isn't like oh, well, I did the relationship. Now if I'm single, I'm never going to get into a relationship again. No, not at all. But you will do the most growing when you're single. You can grow in a relationship, but this division between how your feelings are changing is indicative of like, this is not the growth in the relationship, So, but congratulations on divorce.
Yeah.
I think being divorced at 30, I hope we see more people divorced at 30, because a lot of people don't have the financial situation or are not at the space where they feel ready or can leave a relationship, but when you need to and when you want to and when you should. So more divorces at 30. Well, I'm very pro fucking divorce. And yeah, you didn't go through all of that just to be unsure and hesitant of your decision,
Yeah.
So congratulations. And I foresee so much life in your future.
Yay! All right, that's it for our episode.
Woo, did you ever see that TikTok of that person who was getting divorced, and they did like a divorce, their friends threw them a divorce party afterwards, and they like took pictures with the judge and the lawyer, and there was all, I was like, that is
the paperwork.
Yeah. Not that I'm hoping anyone in my life gets divorced to have a divorce party, but
some situations are that bad where you need to have one.
Yeah. Well, and I'm like, if a friend of mine gets divorced, I'm throwing you a fucking party.
Yeah.
Not wishing ill on any relationship, but if you need to get the fucking divorce. Divorce, divorce, divorce. I'm going to edit myself on a cheerleading costume that just says divorce. Anyways, that's it for our episode. We hope you all enjoyed. If you would like to be on an upcoming episode, give us a call, send us a voice memo. And if you were a caller on this episode and you would like to give us an update, or you're the one who has the Google Sheet, you can shoot us an email with an update. We can schedule to have a call up. You can we'd love to hear from you. And yeah, we didn't do a don't blame them in this episode, but if you, a listener, I would love to solicit this. if you have done something similar or have heard of someone doing something similar, of the caller with the Google spreadsheet and that kind of information, data collecting, and what do they call it when people like hack? They're like hack your wellness, like hacking your sleep. What is that called?
No clue.
Biohacking.
Okay.
That's the word. But something like that in terms of, I don't really give a shit about like the wellness aspects of it. But in terms of like interpersonal relationships, I would love to hear a story like that.
Or if the person who called in is interested in developing this into an app, if you have the skills to do that, then let us matchmake you.
Oh my gosh.
We'll
We
be early
love that.
investors too.
We do it.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Melissa, hold up. If we were able to, this is so for full fucking circle that we went from getting a call on our podcast where someone who's gay was talking about meeting a friend on a dating app, like just going on a dating app to meet friends and then being like, but the girl I'm seeing, she like thinks that it's sus. And we were like, I mean, that is sus. Like no one does that. And then we got infiltrated with all of our lesbian listeners and our queer listeners, our gay listeners being like, no,
Your straight is showing.
Your straight is showing. And then us now investing in a gay dating app. We're fucking here for it. And Melissa has connections to the L word.
I do.
But she will only give them if you let us invest. Nope, not during Pride Month, Megan. That's extortion. Anyways, we hope you all enjoyed this episode. Can't wait to hear more from you. Follow us on all of our socials and make sure you're subscribed to our podcast on the Apple Podcast or Spotify so you can stay up to date on the rest of the shows that we release throughout the week. And you can support the show on Patreon. Very, very, very affordable. Or you can also enter in how much money you want to spend if you're rolling in the dough.
Do it, please. We love you all.
You're wonderful.
Goodbye.
Wear your seatbelts. Use your turn signals. Bye. Don't Blame Me is a production by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production sound and editing by Coco Lorenz.
Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
And music by Giacomo Picasso and Ryan Hunter.
Listening to a podcast should be time well spent, and I promise it will be if you'll give this podcast a try. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in every episode, I talk with leading experts on topics I know you will find fascinating. From why people can't keep secrets, what your favorite music says about you, why your pet acts in strange ways, and so much more. Something You Should Know is designed to give you information you can use in your life and give you great intel that you can share with others. I'm told it's a binge-worthy podcast. And with over 1,000 episodes, there's a lot to binge on. Something You Should Know has been ranked in the top of the Apple Podcast charts consistently for a long time. I know you're going to like this. I just need to get you to try it. Something You Should Know. It's available wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a co-founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. During her journey, Isla meets new friends, including King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table, and learns valuable life lessons with every quest, sword fight, and dragon ride. Positive and uplifting stories remind us all about the importance of kindness, friendship, honesty, and positivity. Join me and an all-star cast of actors including Liam Neeson, Emily Blunt, Kristen Bell, Chris Hemsworth, among many others, in welcoming the Search for the Silver Lining podcast to the Go Kid Go network by listening today. Look for the Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you love Disney? Do you love top 10 lists? Then you are going to love our hit podcast, Disney Countdown. I'm Megan, the Magical Millennial.
And I'm the Dapper Danielle.
On every episode of our fun and family-friendly show, we count down our top 10 lists of all things Disney. The parks, the movies, the music, the food, the lore. There is nothing we don't cover on our show.
We are famous for rabbit holes, Disney-themed games, and fun facts you didn't know you needed.
I had Danielle and Megan record some answers to seemingly meaningless questions. I asked Danielle what insect song is typically higher pitched in hotter temperatures and lower pitched in cooler temperatures.
You got this.
No, I didn't.
Don't believe that. About a wish coming true? Well, I didn't either. Of course, I'm just a
cicada.
I'm crying. I'm so sorry, Jiminy.
You win that one. So if you're looking for a healthy dose of Disney magic, check out Disney Countdown wherever you get your podcasts.